this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. Today I'm working on a design team project for Country Craft Creations using this really awesome Tea in Wonderland paper made exclusively for Country Craft Creations. If you'd like to get your hands on this package, which is absolutely a stunning package of papers. I mean, the colors are beautiful. The designs are gorgeous. You're going to love these. Go to countrycraftcreations.com and get your supplies. So what we're going to be doing today is an album. And we're going to be using, from Country Craft Creations, this paper collection. I'm using baby blue Artisan Cardstock, some black Artisan Cardstock, seam binding, art glitter glue, and the chipboard are all from Country Craft Creations. So we're going to create this album, and it's going to have 5 pages, lots of pockets, lots of flips and stuff, and I just really think you're going to like it. So really super easy to put together. It does take a few pieces of paper. So like so far, if I can look at my notes here, excuse me, it'll take about 15 sheets of this paper, but there's 24 sheets in this particular paper package. So there's 8 designs and they're double-sided. You get 3 of each design. And then on top of that, you also get 3 sheets of cut-aparts. Let me show you those. So you will also get 3 sheets of these cut-aparts as well to use on your papers. Now, they are also double-sided, so if you don't want to use 3 sheets of all of these things to cut out and put on your album, then you can also use the back sides of it, and so you have 2 more papers. So there's actually 27 papers in this pack, which is really, really awesome. So I did use about 15, which is not too terrible for the album that we're going to be making today. And then I also used, I'm looking at my notes, I'm trying to, I'll have this really super accurate in the documentation there, but roughly, good gravy, where are my notes on this? I know I wrote it down. Okay, about 16 pieces of baby blue Artisan Cardstock, which I did use to wrap this album, and it just matches perfectly with this paper collection. And then I am using some black, and I'm probably going to be using like 4 or 5 sheets of that, but I'll have the final total for that. So it does take a little bit of paper to do, but this is going to be a really nice album. So this album measures 8.5 by 6.5, and then it has a 3-inch spine. And look at that bunny. Isn't he cute? Oh my gosh, I love this paper. So it's going to have 5 pages, and the pages will be 8 by 6, and they're also going to have pockets in them. So it's going to be an album that you can stuff full of things, and I just think this is such a cute paper collection. I love it. This would be really super cute for like a little girl's birthday, something like that. Has just all the tea and the cupcakes and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with this. And first off, we're going to make some pages. Now, we're going to do 2 different styles of pages. We're going to make, they're all pocket pages, and they're all made the same way. But they're 2 different styles. So all of them will be cut the same. So you'll actually need 5 total at 9.25 by 12. And then for 2 of the pages, you'll need an extra piece that's 1 by 5 and 15/16, or just shy of 6 inches, and that's going to make a little connector, and we're going to create a double pocket. So let's go ahead and make those. So I did already cut the paper out. And kind of get started on this, and I did make some of the pages. So 3 of these pages are going to be just a straight pocket. So when we get it done, you're just going to have 1 giant pocket on the inside. And then 2 of them, we're going to put a divider in the middle on the inside, and then that will leave 2 pockets. So you can do skinnier tags in there. So just 2 different styles that you can play with. So when you cut your 9.25 inch piece of paper, 9.25 inch by 12, you're going to put it in your scoreboard with the 9.25 at the top. And I probably shouldn't have done this completely like this. Sorry about that. But you'll get the gist here. So we're going to score it at 1/2 all the way down, and at 3/4 all the way down. That's going to give you the 1/2 inch to attach to your book, and then it's going to give you a 1/4 inch give space that will help your pages turn, since we're putting on some additional elements to them. And then you're going to score at 8 3/4 all the way down, okay? And what this is going to do is this is going to give us a tab to attach our base pocket. This tab down here will kind of enclose that pocket, and then this piece here is going to attach to the book. We'll cut this 1/2 inch section out, and then we'll miter the corners. And then miter the corners here, but keep this one straight. You see how this one's cut straight across, because this is going to attach to the book. All right, so all of the pages, actually every single one of them, so you'll need 5 total, will be done the same exact way. They're all scored the same. They're all cut the same. The only difference is that little piece, that extra piece that we're going to do on 2 of them. So that's why this says 3 of them for this particular style. This is going to be one big pocket. So then you're going to take, once you get done with that, you're going to take and fold and burnish all of your score lines, okay, which I kind of have already done. And then when we fold this over, now this score line here, this double one that's on the bottom, you don't need to fold that 1/4 inch. We're just going to use that to enclose the pocket. Just fold it over. And then this one gets folded over as well. And then what you're going to do is grab your art glitter glue here and apply your glue here. And just close your pocket. Okay, so just folding that. So now you have a page that has a big pocket, and you have your binding piece that's going to be like that. All right, so you're going to make 3 of these just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make another one. And again, it's still 9 1/4 by 12. You're going to make 2 of them like this, but you're going to need 2 pieces. For 2 of these, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 1 by 5 and 15/16. So we're going to just simply score it all at the same way. So put it in at the 9 1/4 and score it 1/2, 3/4, and then at 8 and 3/4. And then cut this piece out, miter, do all that stuff. Now before you actually glue the sides together, what we're going to do is we're going to go inside here and we're going to do a little measuring. So grab a ruler and your pencil, and we're going to find the midpoint here. So this is a, excuse me, an 8-inch page. So I'm going in between the score marks here. And we should have like 4 inches in between the score marks here to find our midpoint, okay? And then I'm going to draw a line. And that's just going to give me a guide for placement of this little piece. So that way we keep it as even as possible, okay? So your 1 inch by 15/16 inch, okay, so just short of 6 inches, you're going to take and score it down the middle, so you fold it and it's in half, and then you're going to miter your corners, and then you're going to grab your glue, and we're going to put glue on just one side for now, because that will make it a lot easier. And then I'm going to turn it so I can see it, and then I'm just going to lay this right at that pencil line. And the reason that I did it at 15/16, just shy of 6 inches, is to make sure that it will be completely inside. It won't be in the score line. It'll be just above the score line, and it'll give you plenty of space so you can fold this up nicely. Okay, so I'm just making sure that that is glued down. Okay, so now we have our side tabs to make our pocket, and then we have this middle tab to make a pocket. And then we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to put glue on all 3 sides this time. And then we are going to close it up. And then that will create 2 inside pockets for this page, so that we can use skinnier tags, and then they won't like fly around in the big pocket. So I did create, and I'll show you some larger tags to go in the larger pockets, and then we're going to use smaller tags in the smaller pockets. So then just fold this down and burnish. Make sure we get a good stick. All right. All right, so there's that. So you're going to do that with 2 of your pages. So the the smaller pockets here will be pages 2 and 4. So I'm going to alternate big pocket versus the smaller pockets. And then the big pockets will be 1, 3, and 5. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to put these guys in order now of how I'm going to do this. So the order of my pages will be big pocket, that's number 1. And then the 2 smaller pockets, page 2, big pocket, page 3. The 2 smaller pockets, page 4, if I can get the little opening open, right like that, and then page 5. All right. So now, you don't have to do that, making the separate pockets if you don't want to. I just totally am doing that for this album because I really liked it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just build our pages, and then we're going to put them in our album later. Now, I should mention that the album cover... I'm sorry about that. I failed to mention this. The album cover I didn't do on camera, but I did do the lay flat binding method. If you're not familiar with that method, please check out my tutorials. I do have a link down below in the description to show you exactly how to make this. And the dimensions that you're going to need are as follows. You're going to need chipboard, 2 pieces that are 8.5 by 6.5. And then you're going to need a piece of chipboard that is 3 by 6.5. And then to cover your chipboards, you're going to need the following pieces. Let me just double check my notes. I just want to make sure I don't steer you wrong on this. Please tell me that I wrote this down. Yes, I did. Okay, so the chipboard to cover. So you're going to need 2 pieces of blue that are 10.5 by 8.5, and then you will need a piece that covers the outside of the spine that will be 8.5 by 6. And then the inside blue piece that covers over the top of the spine will be 6 3/8 by 6. And then what I did on the cover is I double matted it with some black. I just really, I don't know, I love the look of this blue and black together. So I wanted to double matte the front covers. I don't know how much I'm going to use on the inside with the black. I think I'm probably going to do the inside covers double matted with black as well, but I haven't quite got there yet. So anyway, that's the pieces that you need to make the cover. I hope that makes sense. All of this stuff will be in the description, all of the cutting guide for this. But anyway, check out my video and it'll show you exactly how I put this together. And if you're, unfamiliar with that. If you know the lay flat binding method, then you should be good to go. Now, the other thing that I did do was I added some seam binding for the closure, for a ribbon closure, and I put it on top of the blue Artisan underneath the black. So just remember, if you want a ribbon closure, to go ahead and put that on there so that it's there. Don't put your pattern paper on first. Go ahead and put the ribbon underneath. So that all being said, let's start our pages. So let me get some stuff together here. Page 1. So I did this album so that it's going to be kind of symmetrical. So meaning that page 1 element, the way we're going to do it, and the papers that we're going to use are going to be the exact same thing on the last page, which would be page 10. So I've made one set already, and we'll put the other one on together as a group. And then inside, these will be kind of the same, and then so on and so on. So the book will have kind of the same paper themes going as you turn the pages. So the front page and the very back page of the album will be the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what I call a never-ending, like, mini album type element. And what that means is, if I get my other pages here, so this is the one I already made. So when you open it up, it'll have a tie closure, so it'll open up multiple ways. So it opens up like this, and then you can turn it again, and then it opens up again like that. And then it also opens up like this. So there's 3 different kind of directions it can go. And then it just has a simple seam binding closure. And it's just going to lay on our album. So here is the paper that I cut out, and it's going to just lay right on top of that. So we do need to cut our pattern paper first. Our pages are 8 by 6. So basically, you're going to cut your paper an 1/8 inch smaller than that, and it will fit right there. I hope that makes sense. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and just glue this one on, and then we'll go ahead and make one together. So you'll see how it's going to go, and then you'll see how to make it. So I'm just going to go ahead and real super quick do this. And lay that down. Okay, so this is page 1. So the one we're going to make and add is going to go on the last page of our album. And I'm just going to put glue on here. And then just glue it simply down to the middle of the page. So I don't want to cover up too much of the paper. I wanted to kind of show the paper. I just think it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. All right. So that's on page 1. Make sure I don't have any glue sticking out. Okay, just like that. And then that is adhered down, and we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my book, I'm going to flip it over because we're going to work on page 10. So I'm going to grab my papers. I actually kind of made a makeshift book that I can put all the pieces on so that, you know, I have all the pieces ready for the page of the album because I'm trying to, you know, make these simple, and then when it comes to filming, hopefully I have all my stuff together. Okay. Okay, so we got to put the pattern paper on this page first, and then the never-ending mini album. Okay, so this is what you're going to need. You're going to need, and again, these are going to go on pages 1 and 10 of our album. You're going to need 6 pieces total for both pages at 6 by 8. And what you're going to do is put them in your scoreboard and do a little bit of scoring. So each page, you're going to put it in your album at the 8-inch mark at the top, and you're going to score 2 of them just at the 4-inch line. And then you're going to take your third one. It takes 3 per mechanism here, and you're going to score at 3.5, at 4, and at 4.5. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold our lines, burnish, and on this one we're going to make a W. So you're going to fold it down the middle first, and then you're going to fold that score back, fold and burnish, and then do the same on the other side. Okay, so we'll end up making like a W out of this one. Okay, so something like, it's going to look like that. All right, then to put this together, what we're going to do is take our 2 pieces of our, basically we kind of made like a greeting card, and we're going to put them back to back like this, and then this piece is going to glue right here. So you're going to grab your glue, and you're going to put it on these 1/2-inch scores, but don't go all the way to the middle score line, okay? We want to kind of not try and get glue in that so that this turns well. And then I'm going to just hold these together and simply just put them together and kind of squish them in place so that they just glue to the edges of the cards. So you see how it's kind of opening up? That's what we want. That's exactly what you want. Okay, so then these fold to the inside, and then these fold around, and then there's your mechanism right there. So it'll open like that and like that. And then you can turn the page, and then it'll open like that and like that. And then when you close this whole thing up, it actually opens up this way as well. All right, so our mechanism's done. So we just need to put our pattern paper on, and this measures, once it's all folded up, 4 by 6. So it just needs a piece of paper that's 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And let's see, let's glue it like this. I'm going to open it so it opens at the, like that at the top. Make sure I've got everything the way I want it. And then glue my paper down on the top. Okay, and then these two little strips here, I just cut them at 3/8 by 5 7/8, and we're just going to put these on kind of that folded little spine because I think it looks prettier if we do it like that. And then I'm going to leave the rest of the pages blank for pictures. You can decorate them, put pattern paper on them if you want, but I anticipate putting pictures in here, so I don't really want to cover up pattern paper with the pictures. So I'm going to just put one on the front, kind of as a title page kind of thing, but leave the rest of it blank. So like that. And then turn this guy over and then grab, let me grab my grid here. And on the back, I'm going to grab some score tape. And I'm going to just find the middle point, which would be around about 3 inches is the midpoint. And use my grid here just to kind of line it up. And then add my seam binding for my closure. And find the midpoint of that. And roughly... trying also to use my grid for that to try and keep it nice and straight like that. All right, and then all you have to do is put glue on there and then add it to your page. So that is a never-ending element, and basically you can make this any size you want as long as your 3 pieces are the same. And you score them all the same and just do the extra 1/2 inch marks on either side of the midpoint, then you've got the mechanism for doing this. Okay, so we'll just do that, and I'm just going to open it up, make sure. There we go. Looking good. All right, so pages 1 and 10 are done, and they are going to be the same with the never-ending piece. All right, so that's pages 1 and 10. Okay, so you can see what I mean by symmetrical. So when you do it, you know, that's what I mean. All right, so the next page here, so the inside pages that we're going to do, pages 2 and 3, here are going to have pockets on them. So the first thing we're going to do is make our pockets and then attach them to the page and then put the pattern paper on behind them. So I already did one set. One pocket will be vertical and one pocket's going to be horizontal, and they're both made the same way. They just have a little bit different measurements. So let's talk about that. So the horizontal pocket, which is going to go on page 2 on the left side here, you'll need one piece that's 3.5 by 9 and one piece that's 2 3/4 by 9. And then on page 3, the vertical pocket, you'll need 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 7 and 2 3/4 by 7. And we're going to make these the same way. They're just different sizes, okay? So you're just going to score the 3 sides, make your pocket, and then this one here is scored and you just add it on top, and then I just put my pattern paper on here. And then what you'll do is we'll go ahead and just add it to the page and then put our pattern paper behind it. And I'm going to use a full piece of pattern paper just so that it covers the tabs. That's just how I'm going to do it. So when we do this, let's go ahead and put this off to the side. So we'll grab our scoreboard, and again, we're going to put our pockets in, and we're going to score at 1/2, 8.5, and then turn and score at 1/2. All right, both pockets the same way. So 1/2, 8.5, and 1/2, and then miter our corners, and I'm going to do a hard miter, so like a 45-degree angle, so that it doesn't create a whole lot of bulk in the album. So I'm going to do that for both pockets. Now you'll notice, you know, obviously one is bigger. That's going to be the bottom pocket, and the smaller pocket will layer on top of that. So you can do big and little tags on these pages. So once you do that, we're going to fold and burnish. Like that. Okay, so once you get your pockets folded and burnished, now these should line up and fit perfectly on your page. And you can kind of dry fit them and check them out, and they look like they're gonna be pretty darn good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just glue the smaller pocket onto the larger pocket. There we go. And make sure we get a good stick. All right, and then, yeah, okay. Whoop. And then what we're gonna do is, I already cut my pattern paper, and it's gonna just fit inside of here, and it'll cover up the tabs so that our tags won't get stuck. So if you're not going to use paper all the way down in your pockets to do that, then you can use that Scotch tape trick by taping over the tab edge, and then that'll help your tags not stick. If you're going to use, you know, like strips of paper instead of going all the way down into the pocket. All right, and then do this. And then this will go on the page because it goes the full width of the page. Both pockets do. So they go first. Glue on my hand. And then grab your pocket, and then we're just going to glue it down here. And you know what I'm going to do here is I'm going to undo this and then kind of unfold it so that I have some of the bulk out, and it'll be a little flatter for me to work with. Should have filled my glue bottle too. And then go ahead and glue your pocket down. Match the edge here. So this will stick out a little bit from your page, but that is the other reason why this 1/4 inch give space is such an awesome way of putting your pages down, because it totally helps with the page turning. Okay, so then I've already cut my pattern paper here. Let's see, yeah. And I'm going to just put that in the pocket all the way down, covering the tabs. And I'm going to line it up. And then I'm going to hold it down with my hand, lift it up with my fingers, and then just glue that down. You don't need to put glue all the way down in the pocket because the pocket will actually hold the papers down for you. So you just need to glue the top to keep it secure. All right. So you have that page. I'm going to go ahead and fold that up. All right, so then you have your pocket page. So you'll have 2 different layers of pockets. So you can do smaller tags in here, and you can do larger ones up here. So the second page here, or the third page, I should say, the same thing. Pocket on first, and I've already made the assembly. And it's a little, you know, different measurements, obviously, but it gives a little bit different look. But it also is actually still symmetrical, you know, because I use the same papers and the same style. of page. Just a little wee bit different. There we go. Make sure that's glued down nice. And I love art glitter glue. It sets up so fast. So fast. And here's my paper for that. So I'm just going to take and put it in the pocket. Maybe. Sometimes you have to help it a little bit and lift it up, and then the paper will slide in. So you can use a ruler or your bone folder or whatever, and then just do that. Make sure your paper is where you want it. There we go. And then, same thing. There. Okay, so page 2 and 3 are now done. So we'll flip it over. We're going to work on 3 and 4. Now, pages 3 and 4 are going to be a waterfall page. So let's do this one first, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. I don't know why. I mean, you can do either one because they're both the same. So you'll put your pattern paper down first, and then you're going to put your mechanism right on top, and it'll be a nice waterfall with 4 pages, and again, built so that you can put your pictures on, and I'm not going to cover with pattern paper, sorry for that. Because of the way that I'm doing the closure, I am going to glue the whole thing down. If you want to do a different closure with a magnet, you can go ahead and put that on here. Do something like maybe 3 inches by 1.5 inches or 2 inches, score it at 1/2 inch, add it to the page first, then put your pattern paper on, then add a magnet before you do your pattern paper. If you want to do it that way, that's cool. If you do want to use a magnet, then you just glue the spine piece down, and then you can use this whole back page. I wanted to use ribbon, and so I'm going to glue the whole thing down on the page this time, just because I feel like it. Also, because this album has a lot of pockets, and especially even pockets in the pages, I just felt like gluing it down, and I wanted to kind of not use any magnets this time. I wanted to use lots of ribbon. I just thought that this album screamed ribbon to me. I don't know why. So I didn't want to. So you can just glue it down. You're still going to have lots of room for pictures. Tons of room for pictures. That is for sure. Okay, so we'll glue this down, and then we'll go ahead and make the waterfall for the other side. I did use score tape to adhere the ribbon down, or the seam binding, I should say. I'm going to move this just a little bit so I can make sure it's kind of nice and centered. That looks pretty good. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Probably shouldn't do that, but I did. I usually do it pretty good. Usually don't miss too much. I think it's years of practice, that's for sure. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So let's make one from scratch. So you'll need a couple different things. First of all, you're going to need your pattern paper that we're going to add to the page, and then you're going to need your waterfall pieces. So you're going to need, these again are for pages 4 and 5. You're going to need 2 pieces that I'm calling piece A, that are 2 at 6 by 9.5, and then 2 that are 6 by 8.5. Okay, so 1 piece A and B for each side. And then grab your scoreboard. You'll need some seam binding as well. And we're going to put them in our scoreboard. Set the 9.5 at the top, all right? And you're going to score at 4 inches, turn it, score at 4 inches. You're going to take the second piece, the 8.5, and you're going to put and score at 4 inches, and score again at 4 inches after you turn. And then we'll fold and burnish everything. And we're going to use our scoreboard to put them together. I do have a tutorial on how to do stacked waterfalls, and kind of how I figure them out. It all depends on, you know, the size of your album, how big your pages are and how many you can get. But depending on the size, you can get up to 8 pages, depending on the size of the pages that you want for the thing. But anyway, if you want to look at that, it's down below in the comments. I will link that as well. All right, so you have 2 pieces, one that has a 1.5 inch spine, or excuse me, 1.5 inch spine and one that has a 1/2 inch spine. So you're gonna take the one that has a 1.5 inch spine, we're gonna put it down on our scoreboard, and then you're going to just lay it down with the inside up, and then we're gonna fold this so that the 1/2 inch is flat. We're gonna add a little glue to that 1/2 inch. And then what I'm going to do is I want a 1/2 inch gusset. So the score line lines up with the 4. So I'm going to line this up at 4.5. And make sure it's nice and flat. The reason why I'm using my scoreboard is because it gives me a nice flat edge to lay it against so that it's nice and straight. And then I'm just going to burnish it down. Now I do need to go back and put the 1/2 inch pieces on the you know, spine pieces with the pattern paper just to cover those up. I did not, I just realized I didn't do that. So I do need to go back and do that, but you'll cut them at 5 7/8 by 3/8 inch to cover this 1/2 inch piece. So then we have our pattern paper, and I'm going to glue that on the front. I'm going to leave everything else blank. So you will be able to put 6 photographs in this still with this assembly. So it's actually quite nice. If you didn't want to put the pattern paper on here and you wanted to just put a photo here, you would get 7 pictures. And then if you use the magnet closure, you would get 8, because you wouldn't have the back page stuck down like I'm going to do because of a ribbon closure. All right, so I'm just going to find the midpoint of my ribbon here, and I cut it at about 30 inches just because I want to make sure that I have plenty to tie with, and then I can always trim it later. But if you do it too short, then you're kind of stuck. So I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of ribbon to tie. You can always save the little piece and add them to tags, things like that. So I'm terrible. I don't throw anything away. I am so waste not, want not. It's ridiculous. So you should see the amount of stuff I have. Okay, so grab your page, and we're going to add our paper to it. Decide which way it looks best, because this one kind of has images going all over the place. Which way does it look best to me? Oh gosh, maybe like that. Yeah, I think like that. Okay. Yeah, put your glue on. This is gonna be a nice big album, and I do like the fact that the pages are, you know, 6 inches tall, because then that does kind of help conserve paper a little bit. As far as cutting out pattern paper and stuff. So it's nice, instead of using 2 patterns for each side, you only have to use 1 pattern paper, you know, to cover the page. So then we're going to just add our element here. If I can keep the glue on the page, that is. Okay. And then again, I'm going to eyeball it. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we have our pages 4 and 5 done. Very cool. I'm liking this. All right, 6 and 7 coming up. So these pages are going to be a gatefold page. And actually a double gatefold page or a stacked gatefold page. So for 6 and 7, we're going to need 8 pieces of paper that are 5 by 6. We're going to create 4 sets of 2 pages, and I'll show you that in just a second. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that are going to be the closure that are 4 by 4. So I have my pieces here that are 5 by 6, and what I did was I put them all in my scoreboard with a 5" at the top, and I just scored them at 1/2 inch. And that's going to just give us the flap to add to our book. But we're going to stack these. So what we're going to end up with when we're done is we're going to end up with a booklet. All right. And a tab to attach it to the booklet. So these need to go on first because these are 6 inches and they go the full length of the page. So we're going to I made one for this side. I'm going to make the other one. It's super simple. Here's the paper that's going to go over top of it when we're done. So one's going to go open one way, one's going to open the other way since it is a gatefold. So I already got this one done. And so this one will fold and burnish, and then we're going to miter our corners. And then we're just going to simply stack them on top of each other. Put that to the side. Okay, mitered our corners. Then we will stack one on top of the other, unless I'm just going to keep the right orientation just because I don't want to confuse myself. So this is going to open up this way. So we got our edge here. Going to put our glue on here. And however it's easier for you to line it up, I'm just going to lay it down there. Line it up, glue it down. Like that. And open that up. Okay, so we have that done. Then what I'm going to do is put my pattern paper on the front. Okay. So these pages measure 4.5 by 6 once we're done. So that's great size for picture. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we need to build the page. So the first thing we need to do is add our pages. Now, one of these pages, so this side here, this one is going to tie with the bow over here, and it'll make sense in just a second. And the other one's going to tie opposite. So what we need to do first is add ribbon or seam binding to your edges. So I have my seam binding here. I got a couple pieces, and I'm just going to grab my score tape and find the midpoint here using my grid. And put that down and add my seam binding. Okay. We're going to add our pocket right on top of that, and then the whole thing will get covered with pattern paper underneath. So I'm going to put my glue down, and it's going to go right to the edge, right over the seam binding, top and bottom. Okay, so right to the edge, we have that. Now, this other page, we're just going to add. We don't need to put the seam binding there because we're going to have a little closure piece that we're going to add to it. So just put my glue, and then what I'm going to do is just add it to the page right at the edge of the page, not into the score of that fold. Okay. Okay. So then when these close, they're going to close alternately. You can see they kind of overlap each other a little bit. That's what we want. Actually, I did it the wrong way. I want it this way. So that's going to go like that. And then the closure piece. Let's talk about the closure piece. So this is going to be for each side. You're going to need 2 pieces, one for each side. That's 4x4 piece of cardstock. And then you will need some pattern paper. So I cut this one here at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. That's going to go on the top. And then this piece here is 3 7/8 by 1 7/8. Make sure I did that right. Yep. And that's going to go on the back. So what we're going to do first off is put our paper on the front of the 4x4 piece. Like so. And then, let's see. There's our second piece. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this to the page next, because that's gonna be kind of the easiest way. And the easiest way that I found to do this is I'm gonna take my page, I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna put it on my grid. So this piece of cardstock here is perfectly 4x4. So I'm going to find the midpoint of my page on my grid, and what I'm going to do is glue 2 inches to the top of this, and then that's going to overlap the whole thing. It's going to be off a little bit, which is what you want. It's what I want, because the pages are a little different. So put your page down, open your page up, put your page down, and then I'm going to just glue this like right in the middle, right there. So I've got 2 inches off the page, 2 inches on the page, and you can use your grid to help you figure that out. So I'm just going to turn it over so I know where my glue line is. And then I'm just going to lay this down. So 2 inches off the page, like that. Okay. Then turn your page over. And then again, using your grid line, I'm going to put a piece here and grab your other piece of seam binding. And these are about 12 inches long. And again, I want to make sure that I have enough. I'm just going to put that down in the middle, cut that off. And then we're going to just add our piece over top of it, and that covers that up. And then it gives you the pages on the inside to put your pictures. And I am going to go back and do a little decorative something to cover that up. Not sure what it is yet, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So then once you get this done, then what you're going to have, so we've got our page. Here's the back of it right here. So it looks like this. We're going to turn our page over, and then you're going to have this cute little gatefold waterfall that'll be tied with a pretty bow on the side, and then it'll open. Let me get this right. It'll open gatefold style and do that. So then on the inside is where we're going to cover all that up with the pattern paper. Okay, so the inside will look like that, and it'll have beautiful places to put your pictures here, and then you have a nice little closure here, and then your little bow here. Be off to the side a little bit. So I did want that to be like that. It is off center. I wanted it that way. Just threw me off for a second when I was looking at it. So we got the other pieces. I've already prepared them. They're already ready to go. We just need to add them to the page. So we'll go through the whole process again. And again, this is going to be opposite. So we'll have to add our ribbon here. Let's get that out of the way. Do the 3-inch mark here. My score tape. And glue all over my fingers. They're getting sticky. Okay, flatten that out a little bit. Do that. Then we're going to grab this page. This is going to go on top here. And I'm going to go back and, of course, you know, decorate and do all the things that I'm going to do. But this will give you the gist of how to put the album together and most of the papers, and see what it's going to look like. This is going to be a cute album. I'm telling you what, I love this album. I love the papers. I think they're just absolutely super, super, super cute. Okay, so we got that. This page is going to go here. Okay, so we're going to just attach that right there. I've already put this assembly together. So again, you're going to have all these pieces. So you'll make 4 sets of these stacked pages, 2 for each side. Remember to put them on before you put your pattern paper on the base. Some of the pages of this album, you put the pattern paper on first. Excuse me. Some of the pattern paper goes on after the fact. So, and then here's my piece that will go in the middle here. And voila, you have your double stacked gatefold pages. And you will be able to get, on the pages, on these side pages, you're going to be able to get 3 for sure pictures on there. And then there's a big space in the middle here. All right. And this one will close like that. And again, I'm going to go back and take care of those edges there, cover up those tabs, and then tie your bow to this off to the side here. Cute little bow. It's going to be cute. Now the pockets in the pages, so this is the other thing I was going to tell you. So the pockets inside the pages, you know, we're going to have tags sticking out of them. That's why I didn't cut any notches or anything like that in the pages. If you want to do that, you certainly can do that. But I'm not going to, because I'm going to have stuff sticking out of the top. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Alrighty, so we're ready for the last 2 pages. Let's get rid of this. And the last 2 pages are just going to be a simple accordion page. But again, these are going to be, it's really easy to put together. And it does give you a lot of room to put your pictures. So you're going to put your pattern paper on first, because this will lay over top. And then what you're going to have is just a simple accordion, but you're going to get a lot of use out of those pages. And it's just another simple tie closure. I wanted to use a lot of ribbon in this book. I just really did. I thought it was super pretty. So you just make the assembly, you put it on there, and then you glue it onto your page. So let's talk about how to make the assembly. Really super, super, super simple. Probably the easiest thing that we're going to do. So for pages 8 and 9, you just need 2 pieces that are 6 by 12, and you're going to put them in your scoreboard. And with the 12 at the top, you're going to score at 4 and at 8. And then you're just going to simply do an accordion fold. And that is all there is to that. So we're going to fold and burnish. Make sure everything lines up nice and straight. And I did mine so that they open to the top. You can definitely turn them around and open one to the bottom if you wanted to, whatever you want to do. And again, these will be 4 by 6, so they'll hold lots of really nice pictures. So I'm going to put the pattern paper on the front here, and do like that. Okay, then once you do that, turn it over, and we need to put our ribbon closure on it. So we're just going to find that midpoint again, about 3 inches in, because it's a 6-inch wide page. We're going to put our score tape, and I have my seam binding ready to go. I'm just going to find that midpoint there and lay that down like so. Glue everywhere. Go ahead and tie that. keep it out of the way, and then we just need to add it to the book, and that's it. Super, super easy. Okay, pattern paper on. Love the colors. Oh my gosh, I love the colors. And I love the black, the pop of black. Just really, I don't know, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. All right, so I'm gonna lay that down. Love these papers. Y'all have to go get some. I'm serious. This is just super, super cute. All right, so then once you're done with that, then grab your mechanism here. Put your glue on. Now I know this album is pretty simple. We're using simple basic stuff that we do a lot, but there's lots of room for pictures, and it really, I think, showcases the papers. It's simple. It'll be easy and quick to put together. If you needed something quick for a gift, for example, totally this would be a super fast album to put together. And I think you're going to like it. So, okay, there we go. All right. This would be really super cute for like a little girl's birthday party, you know? Oh, so many cute things. All right. And then we're just going to glue this one down, and then we have put all of our pages together. So other than decorating these and finishing the front of my album, or excuse me, yeah, well, all the decorations, and then I need to do the inside covers. And my thought for the inside covers is I'm going to make those into just a plain type page with no mechanism or anything on them, with a photo mat. So I'm going to do a really nice fancy photo mat on the inside. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so our pages are done. So here we go. That's what they're going to look like. They're going to be absolutely cute. So we have our never ending to start and finish the album. Let me get that tied. All right. Then we have pockets. We have our waterfall. We have our double gatefold page. And we have our accordion. And then last but not least, the other never ending. So let's put them in the book really quick. And then I will come back when everything's all finished. We'll do a walkthrough and you can see everything that I did. Okay, so 3 inches. There's a 1/2 inch gusset between every page. So I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm going to use this other ruler. I got a new ruler because the lines on my Tim Holtz ruler are just not working for me. Well, maybe this one's not going to work either. Let me see here. Let's do this. Use my grid and my ruler. There we go. That'll help. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line to show me where my first placement is. So 1/2 inch in is where we're going to start. And then I'm going to just get my pages. And we're going to put glue on the 1/2 inch tab. And then we're going to glue it down. And I'm going to go right to the edge of that. And I'm going to center it top and bottom here. And we're just going to glue those in. So fold our tab down, put our glue on. About 1/4 inch from the top and the bottom. Like that. All right, and then the rest of the pages you just line up right next to the previous page, except for the last page. I'm going to do my patented last page thing. Okay. So just butt that up against the previous page, like so. Those will get covered with scraps of pattern paper as well, so that'll be nice and pretty. Lay that down. Now this page has a little more bulk in it. And that is the other reason, that's the reason why I do the 1/4 inch gussets. It does help, or the 1/4 inch give space, I should call it, because it does help the pages to turn easier. Especially when you have a lot of bulk on your pages. And, I'm going to be using some flowers and stuff too. So this is the 4th page assembly here. I'll put that down. The last page is going to be done a little bit different because I don't like seeing the tabs sticking out behind. So what you should have now is the tab here and then a 1/2 inch space on your spine. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to glue, instead of gluing the tab like we've been doing, we're going to glue the tab right on top of the previous tab. And then that way when you turn your page, all you'll see is a nice pretty finished edge and the spine. Okay, so we're going to put the glue on here. And we're going to lay that right on the tab, right after the score line, so we don't get in the score line. And then just glue that down right there. And that should give us a really nice pretty edge for our book behind. Okay, there we go. So we have our pages in our book. And now I just need to do all the finishing and the decorating. I decided I'm going to matte this with black, and then I'm going to do some pretty, like just photo matte type stuff here. No interaction here at all. So if that's not what you want to do, you can, create more pockets, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to make the front and the back photo opportunities for photo mats. And then let's talk about the tags. So in the big pockets, I cut 5x7 pieces of paper that are going to fit in the tags. And they are a little bit, smaller because the pages are 6 inches instead of 5. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cut aparts as pulls. So they will stick up a little bit, maybe with some ribbons or something. I haven't quite figured out exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but that's what my plan is. So I'm going to use, there's 3 pages that have the big pockets, so I made 3 of these. You can definitely put more in there if you want to. And then in the other pockets that I made that have the other pockets that I made in the pages that have the kind of the half pockets, I went in my stash and I found these really pretty white tags that are going to fit just perfect. And they'll stick up just a little bit beyond the page, so you'll be able to put ribbons and stuff like that. So I'm going to use those. And then I went in my stash and I got these from Country Craft Creations. I have these black graphic 45 tags. I think these are going to look fabulous in these pockets. So those are the tags that I'm going to work with. So in the design team package, I got the pattern paper and I got the blue Artisan Cardstock. So all of this was from my stash. The seam binding here was from my stash because I used all the ribbon on the other project. So, but that's what I'm going to do. So I will be back after I get done decorating, and then we'll go through a final walkthrough. All right, I'm back and I have decorated and I have finished everything, and I thought we'd do a final run through and I'll show you what I did with the album. So again, this is the Tea in Wonderland paper collection exclusive for Country Craft Creations. You can get yours at countrycraftcreations.com. And I made this really pretty, beautiful, girly, lacy, fluffy album for with this paper, and it just absolutely turned out really cute. I am just super happy with it. So on the cover, I used some flowers that came in my design team package from Country Craft Creations. So the pink ones are from the design team package, the little yellow ones I added for a little pop of color. There is some yellow in some of the papers, and so I thought the yellow would be kind of pretty. So I just added some flowers to kind of accent the flowers that are on the paper collection themselves. And then I fussy cut out a heart from the cut apart sheet. And this little dress was actually supposed to be a hexagon cut apart, but I had actually cut part of it off because I used the back side of the paper. So I just took a circle punch and punched it out and put that in one of these paper lace doilies that I had in my stash, and then added some bling to it. So I did a kind of a simple cover, but I think it's really pretty. And I left the spine plain because when I open the book, I want the spine to kind of, you know, lay flat. And I left the back cover plain. And then we have our seam binding closure here. And I don't know if I explained this in the beginning, but I did use 2 pieces of seam binding, and I tied them in a knot at the end just so that the bow would be kind of fluffy. So that's my cover. And when you open it up, I did talk in the video, in the tutorial, about how I was going to do this as a photo mat page, and that's what I did. But then I was like, I'm going to do something else with it. So I decided to glue it just on the 3 sides and add a tag. So I used these graphic 45 tags that I did buy from Country Craft Creations, and I used some of the scrap paper to put on the front side and left the back plain. Added some seam binding scraps that I had in my stash and I did different colors. I have some blue, pink, black, and white in here. So kind of really accented all the colors in here. And then like here's the pop of yellow with the watches and the cakes and things. And so that's why I decided to use the yellow flowers here. So these are all from my stash. And then this is a cut apart that I backed on cardstock and then I glued on 2 sides. So you could actually tuck something under there if you wanted to, another mini tag. So then our first page is the Never Ending mini album element here. So it opens like that and like this. And then when you close it, it opens up also like this, and it has a tie closure. I left this plain so you could put a picture on here if you wanted to. And the inside's plain as well for pictures. And then when you turn it, these are the pocket pages that we created. And again, I used some of the graphic 45 tags, and I just put some scrap papers that I had on them on the fronts and added those. So there's a lot of room. You can do more. These tags here they look like that. And then I added the cut aparts that I fussy cut out, backed on cardstock, and put a little, just put them on there for a little decoration. And then these gem dots here are by Graphic 45, and these were actually left over from a previous design team package that I had. And I've only got like, I think 3 of them left. So I've been using them throughout my designing with my design team packages. And I just thought that needed that. So I put that there. When you turn the page, we have our waterfall pages, and they're both the same. When you open them up, you have your waterfall. I added the pattern paper to the spine pieces here. So these are both identical. And then turn the page here, we have our gatefold pages, and I added a paper doily here on both of them with some flowers that I had from my collection. I just thought that was kind of a pretty pop. And then when you open this up, this opens up like that, and then you have your double gatefold pages, and I added some more pattern paper, so you have some blank papers on the back but patterned on the front. And then they just close like that. Oops, like this. No, like that. Yes, and then close like this, and then the bow ties on the side. So those are both identical as well. So let's tie this, and then we'll move on to our next page. So I left this plain on the front, and then when you open it, it's an accordion fold. So we have 2 of those, lots of room for pictures here. And then the back page is another one of the Never Ending albums, just like I did here. So, and then again, on the inside of the back cover, I did another full page photo mat opportunity, did another fussy cut piece here, backed on cardstock, glued it on the 2 sides, added flowers from my stash, and then another tag that I had. Now, the other tags that we had, so we have the pocket pages that have the single large pocket, and then we have the pages that have the double pockets. So in the single pockets, I used more of my paper doilies from my stash and made pull tabs with a punch out, a circle punch of some of the scrap paper that I had left over and just created a nice photo mat. So pretty simple, but that will tuck in here, and then that serves as a pull for getting that out. So we have that. And then on the second page is the double pocket. And I said that I was going to use the white tags, which I did, and then I fussy cut out images from the sheet and then just added to the fronts of the tags, left the back plain. So that's what I did there. So let's go ahead. I'll just pull all of them out so you can see all of them. Here is the second large tag, and again, this was just a circle punch of the pattern paper that was left over. And I used the doily, and it makes a really nice pull for it. So here's the second set of tags here that I have. And again, just use the fussy cut out the cut aparts and did that. And then the last page has the full page pocket. And again, another one of the pieces of paper that I punched out and used with the doily. So that is my album. This was so much fun to make, and it just turned out so beautiful. And I hope you guys really like the tutorial. So please head on over to Country Craft Creations and get your pattern paper. This is Tea in Wonderland, exclusively at Country Craft Creations. And grab your blue Artisan cardstock and some black Artisan cardstock. And I used art glitter glue and seam binding from the collection, or from the store. And then the Prima flowers are just absolutely stunning. So go ahead and grab your papers and have fun with making this album. I will see you again really soon. Thanks for watching and have a really crafty day. Bye-bye.